At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now. At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the Let's Talk with Ty postgame show. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm using I'm using a different platform for this postgame show because it is a call-in show. The link is available in chat. If you guys want to call, let me know if you can hear me. I think everything's up and running. Oh boy, I've got a lot to say about what we saw. I'm going to try and read your comments. Again, I'm going to take your calls. If you want to call, I'm going to post the link one more time in chat. I probably should have waited. I've already got someone lined up here, but yeah, let's go ahead and take the first call here. Steven, hold on. I haven't used this in a hot minute. Steven is on deck. If I could find here we go. Is that, oh, nope. Now, there we go. What's going on, Steven? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Ty? Not much. Man, I tell you, like, normally I don't make the call-ins, and generally I really don't get mad, especially this early in the season. But, man, I have got to talk about Dan Enos and 4th and 1 and 4th and inches. My God, how is that even possible? How can you line up in shotgun? Okay, how can you get a false start on a freaking 4th and 1? We've got KJ Jefferson, one of the biggest quarterbacks, one of the toughest quarterbacks in the freaking league. And what do? We put him in freaking shotgun. I mean, did Dan Enos do this when he was here before? Like, how is this guy coaching in the NCAA?
When he was here in 2015, I've talked about it a lot. That offense was great. It's one of the 3 times where you produced a 6,000-yard season in school history. The following year wasn't too bad. I remember they had some offensive line issues with Austin Allen. Seemed like they had a lot of problems on the offensive line, but the offense still did okay. I don't know what the last 2 games has really been on offense.
And the thing is, I can forgive a lot of things. I can forgive situational things. I can forgive a lot of things. But to me, especially when you're in a league like the SEC, when you're in our division, if you can't line up and get 1 yard against any team in Power 5 football, What are we doing? So that's really all I had to say, man. Like, it seems so basic to me. That's one thing. Yeah. Like, you can tell a lot about a coach on how well their team and how well they coach basics. And to me, that is basic situational football. And so, I don't know. I just had to call in and say, man, that really got under my skin, made me so mad, and fuck damn anus. Sorry about that.
You're good.
All right, brother. I'm going to get off here, okay?
I appreciate your call. Thanks a lot, Steven.
Yes, sir.
See, this is the one tricky part is doing this. There we go. Now we got it back. All right. Let me start off before I take any more calls. That was a good call. That was a great call. Thank you, Steven. 3rd down was atrocious. 3rd down play calling was atrocious. Execution on the field was atrocious. The flags, oh my God, was atrocious. That offensive line, what happened? I'm going to say it. That offensive line was reminiscent of 2019. What the hell were they doing on the offensive line, especially late in the ball game? They had Brady Latham over at left tackle. Chambly's getting his ass kicked. Latham's getting his ass kicked because he's not a left tackle. They look so discombobulated on the offensive line. I got a lot more to say before I do. Shout out to Patreon supporters. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, I'm using StreamYard, which is some stuff I haven't. I tried to hurry. As you can see, Apex Tattoo Studio actually showed up on the call-in banner. They're obviously not a sponsor. They're getting free marketing tonight. So shout out to the show sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. I'm still just same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Link should still be provided down below in the description box. Remember to give them a call, 501-244-3667, and also to the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria located on Emma Street here in Springdale. If you're in town and you need to drink away your sorrows, well, the Odd Soul might be a good place to go do it. Or maybe you just want a good pie, good pizza. They got you covered over at the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria, again, located on Emma Street in Springdale. Embarrassing, especially in the fourth quarter. It was just a complete meltdown. Very Chad Morris-esque. I'm just going to say it. I'm not saying Sam Pittman is Chad Morris. He's clearly a massive upgrade for Chad Morris, but what happened tonight was I'm still just stunned. BYU's offense apparently had only installed about 5% of their offense, or had only shown the world about 5% of their offense based on what we saw tonight. Apparently, the defense, as much credit as we want to give them, guys, they gave up some big plays. That wide open, now that wide receiver trick play, the wide receiver throw, wide receiver pass was probably something they hadn't seen on film. Okay, whatever. But there were some more plays after that. There were some key moments, key flags. Arkansas continuously bailing BYU out with the stupid penalties on both sides of the ball, primarily offense. The offensive line hit with so many penalties tonight. They're still throwing flags inside the damn stadium. They're still throwing flags in the stadium. This was what I was talking about coming out of fall camp, which to me was damn near a borderline red flag. I saw it in fall camp in fastball. There's so many flags. There's so many things that you could just tell, I think this team's going to struggle with penalties. And they have. Embarrassing. I mean, just embarrassing. Some of it, don't get me wrong, the game got a little bit away from them in the fourth quarter. But even before that, I mean, before the fourth quarter, I think they had something like 7 penalties for 90 yards or whatever. They ended up with 14 penalties for 125 yards. That's the length of the football field and then some. That's enough for the length of the football field and then all the way to the 25-yard line. Unreal, dude. This is the worst I think they've looked. Really, it felt like, had I told you everything that happened, had I given you some of the numbers, given you some, things that happened, the penalties, the third downs, starting off, 2 for their first 9 third down attempts or whatever, ended up being 2 of 13. Had I told you all this, you would have thought BYU blanked them. It was a football game that probably shouldn't have been a football game. Arkansas had that lead. They had all the momentum in the first quarter with the AJ Green touchdown. Centenia's return on special teams for a touchdown. It looked like everything was going Arkansas's way, and then it just imploded. And then BYU just would not go away. The true implosion happened in the fourth quarter. Just embarrassing. Do I think it's the end of the world? I know everyone wants to count them out for a bowl game. I know now it's like, well, hell, Ty, they're going to be lucky to win 3 games this year. I'm not going to overreact in that manner, but I will say, holy shit, the self-inflicted wounds tonight were so bad. And before you start blaming the officials, I'm going to tell you a lot of the flags that I saw were absolutely penalties on Arkansas. Yes, there should have been some damn calls on BYU. There was a play, Christopher Pupal on a blitz. I think it was the center, clearly held Christopher Pupal, didn't allow him to get to the quarterback. And if I remember right, that play ended up unfolding where the quarterback completed a pass underneath. There was an earlier roughing the passer. I still would love to see the replay on that. I didn't catch it, but in live time, in watching it unfold live, it did not look like a late hit. But then again, the camera kind of panned away. But still, I don't know what happened on the replay, but the timing to me seemed like he was there on time. I don't know. But there was a lot of holding calls. BYU got away with absolute murder on some of these hold calls. I'm with you guys on that. This did not feel evenly called. However, they did get hit with 7 penalties. They just weren't as big, right? There were 45 total yards of penalties. All right. Pissed off doesn't even begin to Hog fans deserve better than that, man. 6:30 kickoff. That crowd deserves so much better. BYU damn sure got their money's worth tonight, but that crowd deserves so much better in Fayetteville. That was incredible. I thought the Fayetteville crowd was such a problem for BYU. I think they had even commented on maybe the guys trying to having to react to the crowd. 74,000 or something, 8th largest crowd ever in Fayetteville, and you get that. Like, okay, even if it's a close game, whatever. The way they imploded in the fourth quarter, it's like they never – guys, they practice situational football. They practice the hell out of it. You've heard Sam Pittman talk about it, going all the way back to spring camp. Where was it tonight? Why was Latham at left tackle? What is going on with yet another area on the field that I was concerned with, the offensive line, the tackles, the interior? Guys, there's so many problems all across the board. I don't want to overreact and say I'm taking them out of bowl eligibility. I don't want to do that. I'm not saying that. And tonight, believe it or not, as crazy as this sounds, take away some of those penalties, this might be a different ball game. So many self-inflicted wounds tonight. I don't even know where to begin. We have super chats. Well, we had 2. Let's see. Thomas Nunley, what's up, Thomas? Legendary status member, by the way. This sucks, yes. However, we're on the brink of something special. We got some serious work, penalties. Bad, do better. So many mistakes tonight. Some of this stuff is fixable. Where were the wideouts? What, could they not get separation tonight? Why was KJ, and I thought too, KJ early on in the first half was staring down his wide receivers, but it seemed like no one was really getting open. Nobody could get open. However, Luke Haws, man, that dude is special. Luke Haws is special. Are we beginning to see the end of the Pittman era? Josh French wants to know. Is that all did we get all the super chats here? Marcus Murdoch says, I keep seeing Fire Pitt. As I remember, we couldn't find a coach. Don't be prisoners of the moment. And that is a good point. Don't be prisoners of the moment. I'm definitely not on the let's fire Pittman bandwagon for sure. All right, we have some callers. Let me hold on. This is the one tricky part, right? Let me bloop. Okay. And then we're gonna bring on I Am Brew. What's up, man?
Hey, hey Ty, how's it going?
Could be
Actually,
better.
I know that answer. You don't have to answer it. It's all good. I'm not on the Fire Pit bandwagon yet, but I'll still call it tweet. I saw a tweet that said a very uncomfortable conversation needs to happen. I know we're only 3 games in, but there's not been much steam, I feel like, in these past 3 games with our team. We had a little bit in that first quarter, and I feel like BYU just yanked it back. And we never got it back, in my opinion. We had moments. The officiating could start a leaf blower, but at the same time, like you pointed out, it's Latham. It's all preventable penalties. And there was a lot, man. Like, things that were buzzkills for me were we were in the red zone right before halftime, and there was a blatant late hit that wasn't called that would have given us the first down, almost on the goal line. Now, does that mean we score? No. But just I'm grasping for straws of momentum here where I can. I keep having these like flashbacks of KB. Like, was he really that bad? But at the same time, like, this is tough to swallow, man. This game, officials or not, this game should have been ours. And this is the last thing I will point out. This is the year. If anyone, this is anyone's game in the SEC West. Anybody's game. Bama, flat. And they should have lost today. But here we are. We can't get out of our own way.
This is something we have seen before under Sam. So this isn't like a brand new thing where, you know, they get a flag on a key third down or whatever. Special teams getting flags in pivotal moments. Of course, that didn't happen tonight. Actually, of all the flags being thrown, I don't know if special teams got a flag or not tonight.
And yeah, the flags were out of control. Almost every play is what it felt like. There was something.
That fourth quarter was abysmal. And the implosion on the offensive line is just something I cannot. 4 years in with Sam Pittman, former offensive line coach, and we hear that word guru thrown around all the time. And I'm not saying, like, I get it. Kennedy is responsible for the offensive line. Fair enough. But Sam Pittman has made remarks. Guys, I've been in this business. I was a former offensive line coach for 30 years, so on and so forth. Okay, well, now you're going to get some tough questions hurled at you, hopefully tonight and Monday and probably Wednesday too. What the hell is going on with your offensive line? Why were there so many holding calls? Why was Latham out at left tackle? What was going on with Chambly? What was going on with Kutas? Why are we 4 years in and we're not talking about the pride of this team being the offensive line?
So Latham, correct me if I'm wrong. People can curb stomp me for this on the internet. That's cool. Latham had 3 key penalties in the last 2 minutes. It was 2-ish minutes that just ripped any little bit of momentum we could have had right out from under us.
It was at least 2 or 3.
But those penalties were like 30 plus yards.
It was bad.
Yeah.
And they gift wrapped you too on that 30-yard play. BYU, you know, they got hit with the the tight end lined up off the line or held behind, and you know that's like a whatever. And so he catches the ball. He's not an eligible receiver. They gift wrapped you that. And you still couldn't take advantage. And it goes back to all sorts of different reasons, offensive line being primarily the issue. It's a lot of it is avoidable. A lot of self-inflicted nonsense tonight. A lot of stuff that they can fix. But I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there's fire. I've been saying this going back to fall camp. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's an awful lot of smoke around this. Around the offense, too. I mean,
yes, sir. Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's execution on the field, Danino's play calling, whatever, something's not right.
I agree.
So,
well, hey, I'm gonna hop off of here, man. I enjoy the show.
I appreciate your call, man.
Yeah. Have a good night, man.
You too. Bro, man, I was trying to beat him to it. Brandon, what's up, man? You're up to bat. What's going on?
How's it going?
Could be better, right? You there? Okay.
I think I might have to hop out. I can't hear anything that's being said.
You sound like you're in a basement. All right, man. When you can come back and you can talk, let me know. All right, I'll bring you back in. Okay. Well, whoops. There we go. So many issues tonight. It's a lot of issues, a lot of things that a lot of things that need to get fixed. Brady had to get paid. Let me read these comments. Why would you put KJ Jefferson on? Oh God, don't even get me started. Shotgun, and you're on 4th down. You're putting him in shotgun, and you're trying to run the ball. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? How do I call in? Yeah, we got a link. Let me get it to you here. There's a link. There you go. There's a link. Shotgun formation, running the ball on fourth is insane. I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody does, but Sam's got to be asked some tough questions tonight, and he needs to be asked tough questions again on Monday, and I'm sure he will on Friday. What we saw in the fourth quarter, that implosion was unreal. And there were things that just happened throughout the course of the game that were also a little bit like, what the hell? The amount of flags, again, even going into the fourth quarter, were just too many. So many self-inflicted wounds, man. Slow developing plays. I also wonder, like, it feels like either Dan Enos doesn't know how to utilize KJ, or KJ is lost in this offense. I don't know if lost is the right word. That might be a little harsh. I haven't been blown away by KJ Jefferson in this offense. Don't give me these PFF grades and all that crap when you play two shit teams. I don't care about that. What I'm talking about is what we've seen so far in the passing game and what we saw tonight. He's 24 of 35. That's 11 incompletions, just off 35 attempts, 247 yards, a touchdown, 2 turnovers. He did run. He ran 13 times for 21 yards. I mean, if he had a poor game passing, which was often in Kendall Browse's veer and shoot, it's because he was running the football like crazy at high tempo, keeping the defense kind of on its heels and shifting side to side. I think Dan Enos' offense, I don't know if it just doesn't utilize KJ's talents well enough. I don't know if maybe KJ is just simply built for that veer and shoot. And I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but what I've seen so far has not been impressive with KJ in this offense. This is a different kind of offense. It's much slower. It might even be slightly more cerebral. It might rely more on, on being able to read a defense, not coming out of the RPO, where you get an opportunity, to throw the defense off. Not that, obviously, Enos runs some RPO. It just seems like either Enos doesn't know how to utilize KJ, or KJ just hasn't really, I don't know, he just doesn't look super comfortable to me. He's not been a major factor in the running game. At least he certainly wasn't tonight. He had one 19-yard run that was okay. We got some people on deck here. We got a lot of people on deck. Holy crap. Hang on. So you have to go back and then hang on just a second here. All right. We'll do that, and then we'll bring on John Haws. What's up, John?
Oh, man. I worked 84 hours a week, and I came home for a day off to watch that bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't understand what we're doing with our offensive line. KJ's issue is, just like you said, Bryle's offense, he makes the read at post-snap. Right now, he's having to make reads pre-snap. He's having to find the holes, and he's not doing that. He's throwing the ball into the ground.
Yeah.
He's throwing the ball in tight spots. He didn't see a damn linebacker drop back into Earl zone. That's basic.
Yeah, he was trying to find Haws on what I think was a dump off route, or maybe like a hitch underneath route, and linebacker easy pickings.
And I don't understand. Our snaps are still bad, which I know I've voiced that concern all off season. Was the slow snaps, the high snaps. Man, shit. And I think what the issue is we're not able to communicate up on the line because we're worried about getting the snap back to KJ. We're still not hitting the holes like we should. We did better this time, I'll say that.
Yeah, they did.
But KJ's got no time to progress through reads. And when he wants to, he locks in on a receiver, and we get a shitty pass out of it. We might get lucky, but I'd rather be good than lucky.
I don't know. I don't think KJ's super effective in this offense. I just don't. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, yeah, week 1, okay, cool. These last 2 weeks, I don't know. I don't know what the identity of this offense is. A lot of questions, man. A lot of questions.
Yeah, I don't think they have a clue either. It may be Criswell time.
Oh, that's gonna get chat going.
I call it like I see it, man. I always have.
Yeah,
Criswell,
I think
the offense.
I think the problem with the Criswell claim right now is we just haven't seen enough of him to say that he could operate the offense any better than KJ. But he has looked really good in practice. He looked really good and he looks good in fastball and in camp. He looks pretty good week to week in practice. I'm not saying it's time to do that, but a few weeks down the road, maybe if they're still not getting things going, I could see that being something that this staff has to weigh with. Is do we go ahead and pull the trigger on Criswell? I'm not giving up on KJ. We all know KJ's the man. He lifts weights, all that stuff. He made a great play tonight where he broke some tackles. That's what he offers you. But on the cerebral side, I don't know. And hell, it's not even all his fault. The offensive line has been hot shit garbage. Let's just be real. John, I appreciate your call, man.
Absolutely, brother.
I'll see you, man. Legendary status member 2, by the way. Uh-oh, hold on. Let's get the right call. Right, there we go. Right call. Grayson, what's up, man? I'm going to have to ask you to make it kind of quick. I've got like 5 people online here.
Oh, you're good. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
All right, bet. So the only thing that I'm seeing is like where, I guess with the Enos offense, you kind of mentioned it, but nothing's moving. Like, where's the disconnect? That's what I'm watching. I don't know.
They look out of sync.
Correct.
Timing between the quarterback and the receivers is suspect. Tackles. I said this and I got called. I had some people not happy with it, but I have major questions about the tackles. I didn't expect the interior offensive line to get off to such a slow start. I thought that would be the strength of the offensive line. That clearly hasn't been the issue. I don't know if there is a strength. They did do better tonight. The run blocking was better, but the running backs also chose the right lanes tonight as well. Man, we're going into week 4, and
I've advocated for Pittman, running the offensive line. We're 3 weeks in. Offense ain't doing nothing.
I agree.
Oh, well.
They got some big questions to answer, man. And unfortunately, they're going to have to solve them pretty quick because they got LSU on deck.
We're in the SEC. We're used to it.
That's true. You got a good point. I appreciate your call, Grayson. Thank you. Let's get – so Sportsman's on the call already. What's up, man?
What's going on, Ty?
What up, man?
Hey, I just got a few comments, man. I ain't going to keep you long, man. I want to say you're one of your biggest fans. I try to tune in as much as I can.
Appreciate that.
But my thing is with AJ was hot early.
He was.
Why would he pull AJ out to put the bean in? I know he's kind of a changer, a pace guy, but AJ had got his rhythm going early. So, you know what I'm saying? Keep pounding with AJ and keep making plays. And then when, the change of pace is needed, then install the bean.
He had 4 carries. 4 carries for like 70 yards or whatever it was. And I know a lot of that came off a single carry. But he didn't pick up his 5th carry, I think, until like the third quarter.
I know, and that completely kind of, brings his pace down a little bit. Clearly, he's our best second option. So why not, use him as the bell cow while he's hot? He's already made the big play, so he's amped up to make more big plays. But anyway, one more thing.
That's it.
I'm here for the trolls, man. If we find Sam Pittman, who in the mind do you have that we can hire? Why you keep saying that? Who else do we got to look forward to?
Shots fired. He wants to know. If you fire Sam, what do you do?
Where are we going?
You know what their response is going to be, right?
I hope not Deion Sanders because he's not coming to Arkansas. Come on now. Let's keep it real, Ty.
I'm not saying that they should do that. I'm saying that would be their response. It would be Deion.
I'm already knowing. I'm already knowing, but Deion is not coming. So let's take a look around in our minds and see what coach could we pay to actually come here and take over for Sam Pittman while he go to Hot Springs and lay up in his big house.
All right, man. I appreciate your call.
All right, I appreciate you too, Ty.
Hey, take it easy, man.
You too.
All right, we got Monterio. I think this is your first time calling in, maybe. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me, Ty?
I can hear you all right.
All right. Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? This game was solid. Bad offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the Enos effect's supposed to be bringing, but it's bringing us some bullshit right now. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Hey, it's straight bullshit. You know, defense then stepped up. Offense then took 2-3 steps back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand. They ain't letting KJ run loose. I don't know if they ain't got all his installed. But shit, it seemed like we still running 3, 4, 5% install like first, second game.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. I really don't. And like I said earlier, I don't know the identity of this team. Like, what are you? They certainly
confused.
They're trying to run the ball, and it hasn't been super effective until tonight. Tonight was a pretty good, you know. I mean, they ran the ball.
Tonight was a decent run, but on the flip side of that, man, KJ can, you know, usually pretty effective on throwing the damn ball, but shit, he ain't made none of that happen tonight.
Nobody opened a friend of mine was at the game, and he's sitting up in the nosebleed, so he's like, man, this looks like a video game to me. And he's watching, and he's like, bro, our receiver, nobody's getting separation downfield. They don't have a deep ball target. Now, this is not a reporter. This is not someone in the media. This is just a buddy of mine who went to the game. I don't know if that's true. Maybe we'll get some clarity on that tonight and, you know, the sports talk shows on Monday. But I think there might be an issue between KJ and these receivers just in terms of, you know, communication and the receivers creating separation. The passing game is not what I thought it would be under Danny Enos. I'll say that right now. It's not.
It's clear to see that, you know, we don't have a passing game or nor a running game. You know what I'm saying? Defense has bailed us out this whole season up to this far. Defense is holding their own. You know what I'm saying? But as far as us, anybody can play a cupcake game and throw up 100 points.
That's right.
Hell, but now we trying, you know what I'm saying? We really tested ourselves and we come up short. We ain't come up short. Hell, we come up way behind. Shit.
I agree.
I got me on my fireball shit tonight. Man.
Bro, it kind of feels like, honestly, sometimes you talk about Powerball. It feels like they're using scratch off sometimes on these fourth down calls, bro. It's like, what are we gonna do? Well, hand me a scratch off. I got a quarter in my back pocket. Let's see what we should draw up here. You know, and then they do this, they do it, and then they look, and then that's the play. I don't know. It's certainly not what I thought it would be. I'll say that. 3 games in, I thought we would see more fluidity in the offense. I'll be honest with you too. The defense did do a decent job of keeping Arkansas in the game, but I still have a lot of questions for the defense. Monterio, I appreciate your call, man. I got someone on the line.
Yeah, appreciate you too, bro.
Appreciate
nice
you,
show.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Is it working now? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine now.
All right. What's up, man? You taking a shit?
No, I had to swap computers real quick.
Right. Okay. You just sound like you're in a bathroom or a dungeon or something.
I have a really open room, so it echoes really bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I can hear you loud and clear.
So I think it was the first 3 games of last season I charted out. We didn't have a single touchdown where we didn't have a pass that was forward of the line of scrimmage, which last year they loved throwing behind the line of scrimmage and expecting someone to run out and make a play on their own. I'm starting to see a lot of the similar things to this year.
Mm-hmm.
We like running the ball, but we're not a running team. We need to pass the ball. In modern college football, passing the ball opens up the run game. It's no longer the run game opens up the passing game. So as long as we keep holding back the receivers and throwing it 1 yard past the line of scrimmage or right at, instead of 5 or 10 or 15, or I don't think we've even had a 20-yard pass this season, 3 games in. We're just going to lose to better teams.
So do you think part of the problem might be offensive line not giving KJ time? Maybe they kind of know that's an issue, so they're trying to draw up quick, short, high percentage throws.
I think the offensive line looks like they took the O-line from Fayetteville High School and put them out there. This is probably the worst offensive line a Sam Pittman team has ever had.
Isn't Fayetteville 4-0 though? Are you hating on my Bulldogs? Aren't they 4-0?
Oh, they're probably outstanding. I haven't lived in Arkansas for years, but they're probably outstanding.
Probably better than what they could. At least they have an offensive identity. Of course, it helps that they have a Casey Dick calling the plays and all that.
If you look at the play calling patterns from last year to this year, they're the same. It's not Dan Enos. It's not Kendall Briles. I didn't like some of the things Kendall Briles did. There is someone above them that is saying, don't do this, do this,
Sam
and
Pittman.
it is holding them back.
So you think Sam Pittman's involved?
I think 100% Arkansas will never have an elite offense under Pittman.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you say that, but they had 6,000 total yards of offense last year.
But look at the run game. We were one of the best teams in the country at the run game. All our runs were off burst plays.
But that's the design, right? But that's the design of the offense, though. That's what the veer and shoot. That's what it does.
No offense is designed to get 20 yards a play. The run game numbers were bolstered off of Rocket Sanders getting 20, 30, 50, 80-yard runs.
But those plays were designed. But those plays were designed to give the running backs that kind of chance. It's a lot of. It's why it's high tempo. It's keeping the defense off balance. Yeah, no play is designed to go 25 yards. That's not the point that I'm making. The point was that I called it a power run offense. Essentially, that's what it was. It was a power run offense disguised in RPO, and that's exactly what the offense was. Now, I agree that it wasn't exactly the most balanced offense. That it was not effective in the red zone. Kendall Briles was not effective in the red zone. A lot of weird, stupid, tight end in motion, under center, nonsense, double receiver reverses behind your 20-yard, behind your 15, 10-yard line. A lot of silly stuff. But the design of that offense was to run and get big plays and do it quick and score quickly. That was absolutely the design of that Kendall Briles offense. I hear what you're saying. They don't, and I agree with you. This is an offense that wants to run the ball that can't run the ball. It's an offense at times it seems like they want to try and throw the ball, but they can't throw the ball. So then the reverse effect would be let's just run the ball then. Let's try to open up the pass if we can't open up the run. Yeah. They haven't been effective at either. They haven't been consistent at either, I would say.
But the issue was last year, they either ran for 30 yards or they ran for 1 yard. And it's the same way this year. They're either going to burst open a run or they're not going to go anywhere. There were so many drives last year that just ended because they ran, and then had to punt. Or they ran, and then tried to throw a 10-yard pass, and they're just sitting back at the 10-yard line waiting for the pass to come in, and you can't throw that. It's the same way this year. It's either the running back actually just outplays everyone and makes a run, or
and that's what we
lose.
That's I think we're on the same page. Yeah, the offense, and I would say that the running backs picked poor lanes. They didn't pick the right lanes. Last game, I thought that was something that was pretty glaring. the offensive line at times just didn't open up big enough gaps, big enough holes for the running backs to run through. Listen, man, I agree with you. There's a lot of work to do. It seems like maybe it's a nickel and dime offense. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to be. Like I said at the beginning of the show, they don't have an identity. I don't even know if we know what the hell is they're trying to do. They certainly look like they want to run the ball. That goes all the way back to spring camp. That goes back to fall camp, and that goes through practice. They certainly look like they want to run the ball because, good Lord, do they work on it. Is that not something we see time and time again in practice? Yes, they try to run the hell out of the ball. I think that's what they want their identity to be. They don't have the right pieces up front, or maybe it's just dialing up the wrong calls at the wrong time. I don't know what the issue is, but they got a lot of work, and unfortunately, you've got LSU on deck. You got to get this shit figured out quick because they could be riding a pretty long losing streak.
I'll just leave you with, I wish they would just let KJ air it out. I think we have some receivers that could do some damage.
Well, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I think if the pass was there, they would absolutely attempt to throw the ball, and I don't think it's there. I mean, that's not to say there might be receivers running loose down the sidelines, but something is not. They're not all on the same page, man. I just don't see it. I think if the pass was there, they would dial up more passes. I think they would try, but it's just not there. Maybe it will be. Maybe down the road, man, I know it'll make me and you happy if they could throw the ball and air it out, be more effective in the passing game, but it just has not been there. All right. I appreciate your call, Brandon.
Yep. Thanks.
Again, I mean, it's easy to say, well, I wish they would just throw the ball more. Well, it's just not it's just not there. It's not there. Either receivers are not getting open. KJ's missing reads. Offensive line is just off. I don't know. But it's certainly you're going into week 4 and we still don't know what the hell this offense is. And that's not a good sign. And like I said on Friday, where there's smoke, oftentimes there's fire. There's a lot of smoke surrounding this offense. Funny how we overhaul the staff, but two coaches and the problems from last year continue. It's actually, but they were way more effective. We knew what this team could do last year. We knew we could run the ball. We knew we could run this ball down your damn throat. We knew we could do it, and they did it. Even in losing, even in games you lost, you still knew they were going to be effective on the ground. We'll see if tonight is a beginning, is a trend that keeps going. We'll see if they can continue to run the ball because, believe it or not, if you could run the ball in this league and be somewhat effective, that should be good enough to get you hopefully in the picture of going bowling. That should get you some wins if you can control the tempo, if you can control the clock, you control the line of scrimmage. Your defense still has to hold up their end of the bargain. The passing game still has to be there to some degree. But Kendall Briles showed you how to do it. He laid out the blueprints on how to utilize KJ. And it's too late now, but if I were Dan Enos, I'd be studying a lot of Kendall Briles tape on how to use KJ effectively because so far I haven't seen it. Not through 2 games against better competition than what they saw in week 1 when the offense went completely off. I will say they did score 31 points in a losing effort. They didn't get blown out. BYU didn't come in here and beat the shit out of you. It took a trick play to really get the momentum going for them. Arkansas hung around, took the lead back. BYU took the lead back. Arkansas still kind of hung around. It's not all bad. It's not all, oh shit, we're done. The season's over with. We might as well pack it in. For some of you, I get it. 7-6 wins is not enough, but there's still some positives to look at. I will say this. If they go 6-6 again this year, if they miss a bowl game this year, and this is way ahead. We got a lot of football left, right? They got a lot of things that hopefully they get fixed. Listen, every team has had a kick in the mouth kind of moment, right? And we've seen some teams bounce back. LSU is a pretty good example so far, based on how well or how poorly they played against Florida State. They've rebounded pretty well. They haven't played great competition. Every team has had that game where they got kicked in the mouth, kicked in the face, and then they responded, and then they're a different team. We see that all the damn time. It happens all the time. You have that game. Don't get me wrong. You had no business losing this game in front of 74,000 people in Fayetteville. You had no business losing this game. That's a pretty big advantage. And for you to lose to BYU, I hate it too because that's a Big 12 loss. Oh, gross. some of these issues are absolutely fixable. The implosion tonight on the offensive line, the implosion tonight in the fourth quarter is a giant red flag. That is a huge red flag. It just felt very reminiscent of some really dark times in Arkansas football history. To see the team look so desperate on the offensive line to move Brady Latham out, to move guys around like they have. They've done it all year, I get it, but Latham out to left tackle, that's not his position. We'll see what happens moving forward. But to see the implosion, the penalties, the holding, KJ getting sacked even while holding the guy, and just a complete letdown on the offense on every end you could think possible. Receivers don't seem to be on the same page necessarily. Some of KJ's throws tonight were really off even when they were completed. I don't know. I think there are, to me, there's at least two really big red flags. There's a lot of smoke. It's not to say that they can't fix these things. It's not to say that Sam Pittman is or isn't the guy for the job to fix those things. But damn, man, you're already going into week 4. I don't know what else to tell people. Like, you're going into week 4 and you still have these issues. O-line can't pass protect. Well, hell, they weren't really run blocking until tonight. KJ going through the motions when he does play action, doesn't do a very good job of selling the handoff. I think I noticed that too, actually. That's a really good point. We better get some dogs out of the portal. Here's the other thing. You're 4 years in, you have the portal at your disposal, and we got that performance tonight. Like, I would argue it seems to me like they may have regressed. And I think a lot of you, especially the Kendall Browse fans, those of you in the Kendall Browse fan club, would agree. They've regressed. How much of that is Sam Pittman? And listen, the last guy, Brandon, I think it was his name, he had a good point. Maybe he's too involved in the offense to some degree. Well, I mean, maybe he's too involved in the offense. I don't know. He does have stopping power. Every head coach has the power to veto. Is Sam Pittman, is it possible he's playing too big of a role in what's going on the offense? Brandon says he noticed some trends from last year. I think, I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought Enos was going to get KJ under center. That's certainly something we saw again. You guys saw it in spring. We saw it in practice. We saw it in camp. They were definitely he was definitely under center more, but everything else is all pistol formation or just, spreading them out 3 or 4 wide. Camo Gang says BYU has a good team. And this is the other part of this. We need to say that, honestly, better than us. BYU is much better than I thought. They're a lot better than I thought they were. Now, their quarterback, a guy like that should not come into Fayetteville and beat you. And to be fair, he didn't beat you. I get it. The freshman running back was fantastic. Their defense did a good job putting their offense in good situations. Other than that trick play, I thought, they did well. He wasn't the reason, but he still had some pretty flashy moments. He still had a couple of nice little throws that I thought, like, why couldn't the offense get that guy or the defense get that guy in that offense off the field? Why couldn't they get BYU off the field quicker? And I think there's still questions about the defense. I will say, however, the secondary is a lot better, despite giving up some of those big plays. Marcus has a point. What did Marcus say? Wait, what did Marcus say? I kind of feel like Pittman is trying too hard. Let's put this up on the screen here. Marcus Mitchell says, I kind of feel like Pittman is trying hard to feed the portal transfers with playing time, and that could be causing the ineffective personnel usage on offense. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I think Sam's just playing who he thinks is the best. And clearly through practice, a lot of those transfers flashed. A lot of the transfers looked better. Now, I've seen this argument for why we don't see more of Centennia on offense. Maybe you've got a point there. They kind of rotate out that slot spot a little bit. They kind of move guys around, personnel around there. I think they just try to play with what personnel they feel the best with, to be honest. That BYU catch. You talking about the one in the There were a couple of really good. That tight end's good, man. That tight end, he's going to play on Sundays. He's good. I was very impressed. I don't want to go in on go all in on the negatives, but or on all the negatives. Switching over to the good stuff, there was some good out of this game, believe it or not, for Arkansas. First off, AJ Green. Someone called in earlier and said, why did he not get more carries? He had 9 carries for 86 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 55-yard touchdown run. That's almost 10 yards a carry. That's nearly 10 yards a carry. Andrew Armstrong caught 9 balls for almost 100 yards. Luke Haws tonight looked good. And there were a couple other times where I thought he was open that KJ should have connected with him. 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Right? I mean, there were certainly some positives. Jaheim Thomas, the Cincy transfer, had a sack, a TFL, led the team with 9 tackles. There's a transfer for you. That's another transfer. Chris Paul had a 1.5 TFLs with 7 tackles. Landon Jackson tonight had 1.5 sacks with almost 4 TFLs. You guys know how big I am on him. I'm going to give him some love. There were certainly some bright spots. There's certainly things going on with this team that make me feel like, damn, there is potential here. There is potential. It's here. You've got a potential freaking All-American, maybe 1 or 2 All-American linebackers, potentially. Not saying they are. You've got Landon Jackson, who I'm a big fan of. I think he's certainly an all-conference or an all-American caliber player. You've got these guys in the secondary that are playing their asses off. At least 2 or 3 passes defended tonight. Hudson Clark with a heads-up fumble recovery, with Dwight McLaughlin forcing the fumble. They're still able to force turnovers. But there were times when they just couldn't get off the field quick enough. I don't know what the hell that was about. BYU's offense, I don't know how much of that is Arkansas's defense may actually be worse than we thought, or BYU just really, really meant it when they said, we've only shown you 30%. We really hit a lot of what we did through these first 2 games. I don't know how much of it's that. I don't know yet. You're going to find out even more about yourselves because LSU – you got to go to their place this time. And now last year, actually, every year Pittman's been here, that's been a hell of a battle. Weston plays, says 4-8 for Arkansas. I don't know that I'm not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Where's Varkey's Gums? I'll tell you where Varkey's Gums is. He wasn't here during spring camp. He's behind. No fault of his own. He's just behind. He's trying to learn. He's trying to pick up the offense. I thought he would have a bigger impact by now. He's still learning. I don't know if has he had a snap this year on offense? I don't know if he has. I feel like in the first game we saw him a little bit. Derek Woodson says, not true. I don't know who he's talking to. Didn't like Enos when he was here with Bielema. You didn't like what he did in 2015? I mean, dude, that's a year for the record books. I would say after maybe 2016 or after 2015, yeah, I mean, he went downhill. He's a good quarterback coach, but clearly that hasn't helped KJ yet. You're not wrong there. Oh, how do I call in? What's up, Mr. T-Dub? Let me get you a link. Holy cow. Hold on. Let's get the link. If you guys want to call in, I'm giving you another opportunity here. I don't even know what grades. I mean, I don't even know what grade I'd hand out tonight. I feel like I'd want to. Oh, man. Run game definitely gets at least a B, right? A B plus. The run game was actually fantastic. I didn't expect the run game to 177 yards on the ground against BYU, who's been pretty salty against the run. I didn't see 4.5 yards per carry tonight for Arkansas. I didn't think they were going to get it together, and they did. I thought that would open up the passing game more. It didn't. All right, hang on. Here we go. See, I can't ever do this fast enough. Boom, and then boom. There we go. All right, what's going on, Eric? You look like a first-time caller. You're muted.
Sorry, I had an echo going for a little
There you
bit.
go, man. I can hear you loud and clear. What's going on?
Hey, man, that game. I just wanted to say, if you would have told me before the game started, Arkansas scored 31 points, knowing what BYU scored against the teams they played, I would have felt real good about Arkansas.
That's a good point.
Now, Arkansas's offense effed up a lot, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the defense, like the average play was really good, but then they would just get gashed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and even looking at the numbers, looking at some of the analytics, like they only gave up 281 yards of offense.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's not like BYU necessarily. Obviously, they didn't need any more. I mean, they got just the right amount and they won the game. And that's the column that absolutely matters. But the defense hasn't had, like, they don't look like they're running on two flat tires like they did last year. And those two flat tires were your secondary. It doesn't feel that way this year. There's just moments where I feel like they ought to be able to get off the field faster. In this game, I certainly felt like they should have been able to get off the field faster.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. Not enough.
To be fair to them a little bit, the first half at least, they did have a lot of short fields to deal with.
Yeah.
But still. And they had a lot of maybe run plays that went for longer than they should have, or yards after catch, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought they did a pretty good job of trying to pressure and throw off the passing game, trying to get the quarterback and the receivers out of sync. I mean, it was clearly pretty effective, but then BYU would find a way.
Yep. Well,
all right, man.
doing this. See you.
Thanks for calling in. We got Mr. T-Dub. Oh, no, you're not T-Dub. Sorry, man. T-Dub, what's going on, Tim? I can't see you.
Hey, yeah, I'm driving right now. How you doing?
Oh. Well, be careful.
Yeah, I am. Hey, a few things. One, what's worse than watching the Razorbacks lose? Is paying good money to watch them lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, I will just say this. I thought our defense did about as best as they could. They held them under 300 yards, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Dan Enos is a joke in my opinion. He had one good year, 2015. I grant you that, but remember, Chad Morris was leading Clemson to championships in 14 and 15, and what did he turn out to do? So I'm just not a big Enos fan. I think I've told you that, that. I think he is a good. Well, at least I thought he was a good quarterback coach. But it is clear that KJ has regressed. I don't know whether he's gotten in KJ's head or KJ's in his own head, but he is not the same KJ that we know can play lights out. He's throwing balls behind people. He's throwing them under people. He's not hitting his open reads. Tesla was open a few times tonight, wide open. Then he couldn't get to his reads because our offensive line they're just garbage. We were setting 9 rows off the 50-yard line, and you could almost hear them boys straining, and they couldn't keep anybody off KJ. So that's kind of how I feel about all of that. And I mean, it was embarrassing. BYU is not a good team. They are not a good team, and we lost to a very not good team. And Enos is everything I thought he was. I describe his offense in one word: blah. It's just very blah.
Yeah.
And he does nothing to help himself. Walking out of the stadium, there were a lot of fire Enos calls, couple of fire Pittman, which is a joke. I think Pittman's a great guy. And we'll get things on track. I just think he's going to have to fire Dan Enos and Cody Kennedy to get it done. So that's my thoughts.
Okay. Listen, you and I've talked about Enos. I certainly expected a lot more so far. I did. And I am a little bit surprised to see how, I don't know, ineffective, inconsistent, and then we could throw some adjectives in there. Like I'm surprised. But I will say BYU's defense, I know who they played against, did look pretty freaking good the first 2 weeks, but you do have to consider they played crap opponents. I get that. But sometimes you could just see the athleticism and the skill and the talent watching them play. Arkansas did at times kind of move the ball whenever they wanted to. they just couldn't get out of their own way. I don't know that tonight is completely on Coach Enos, but I will agree there was certainly a lot of smoke around.
Well, here's Dan Enos summed up. Here's Dan Enos summed up. Everybody knew when we were going to hand the ball off. He is run, pass, punt, run, pass, punt. You're fourth and about 2 feet, and you line KJ up in the shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I got to say about Enos too. Who was trying to hire Dan Enos? He was an upper mediocre OC at Maryland. So who was after him so hard that we thought this was a great hire? What has he done since 2016? Yeah, he's been a quarterback coach to some really talented quarterbacks. But what has he done? What offense has he built that is just so stellar? One thing's for sure, we won't win championships with Dan Enos. We might go bowling every other year, but that's about it. He is as vanilla as it gets.
Okay. Fair enough. That's fair. Like I said, he deserves criticism tonight. There's no doubt. I just don't know that tonight, just talking about tonight, I don't know that it's all on him. I will agree the offense just did not out of sync.
There's plenty of room. You're right, Ty. There's plenty of room under the bus for a lot of people. But I think it's all most of it's on the offensive side of the ball. Coach Kennedy has whiffed. This has got to be the worst offensive. This offensive line is reminiscent of Chad Morris.
You're not wrong. Listen,
they are collapsing.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They couldn't run the ball in between the tackles the first 2 weeks. Hell, they couldn't run outside. They couldn't run outside zone. Couldn't establish the run. Sam kind of played that off like, well, we're switching up personnel, figuring things out, whatever. But guys, it's okay. We're not the only team in the country going through this. And then you fast forward to tonight. Look at how things unfolded on the line of scrimmage on the offensive line. It was horrible.
My grandma pushes her walker harder than that, and she's dead. That's how weak that line was. It was weak.
I thought the pass blocking tonight was a solid F. I mean, it was bad.
KJ was rushed. He was running like mad. And I really think, and I could be wrong, and I hope I am, that Enos has gotten hit in his head he's so technical on his footwork, which KJ needed a little bit. Yeah. That KJ is so, in my opinion, looking forward to his draft status and his footwork, how to impress the scouts, that he forgot how to play ball and have fun with it. He's not the Superman he was. He doesn't look like he's enjoying the game to me. I mean, I could see the sweat on their head. We were so close. He did not seem like the same KJ we've been used to seeing over the last few years. I wasn't the only one that's seen it.
You probably weren't here in the live because you were trying to get out of the stadium, but I said that earlier. I don't know that this offense – I don't know that it's a perfect marriage between Dan Enos' offense and KJ, and that really could be the issue. It really could. It's not to say that KJ's been horrible, because he hasn't. He had a really high PFF grade. His Pro Football Focus grade was really high. I'm suspect of PFF at times, not going to lie to you. I don't know how he got first team, whatever it was, first team All-American on PFF last weekend. I don't know how that happened, but they gave it to him. But I don't know that this is a perfect marriage between KJ and Dan Enos. At least we haven't seen it yet.
No, you're right. Well, time will jump off here. Great show. And it's going to be a long season, fellas. Buckle up. Have a good one.
I appreciate your call, Tim. All right, let's get touchdown Hogs. What's up, man?
What's going on, Ty? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, man, I just want to say that I really enjoy your show and everything. With you and Trey Biddy and John Neighbors, I've really enjoyed y'all's content every weekend. So you got a good show.
I appreciate that.
With that being said, I think that I just want to play devil's advocate here, because I am very disappointed. Like everybody in the state of Arkansas is disappointed about tonight. But let's play devil's advocate. Let's say BYU, let's say they go 9-3 or 10-2, right? And we can't really see that right now. the team can't see that right now, but obviously the morale of the team is pretty shook. Probably right. I guarantee you the locker room, the energy was not great. And so let's just say we have a bad season, like we go 5-7 or 4-8 or something bad like that. Let's just say, worst case scenario, it gets bad.
It could happen.
And the wheels come off. Who would you okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. And if you want to run me off with, pitchforks and torches and all that, you can do that. How would you feel about bringing Bobby Petrino back?
Is that a real question? Are you asking me if they should bring Petrino back?
I'm not saying that I'm advocating for it, but I'm just putting, like I said, I want to give Pittman the chance to correct issues. I know that Cody Kennedy is his number one, and I know that he's shown that he's been willing to make changes and make adjustments and, let people go. And I respect that. If you want to win, it's not about having the, the nicest guys sometimes. Sometimes it's about, hey, what do we need to do to win? And not about being the big soft, fuzzy teddy bear that everybody likes. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to have to do to win.
Let me just tell you, if I were the guy in charge. Now, obviously, 4-8's not gonna get him fired. It's just not.
What would it take as far as his buyout? I mean, how many would it take? What, back to back? What, 4 and 8 years or something like that?
I think if he went 5-7 this year, his seat's really warm. And then next year, if it's the same thing, or 6-6, you barely make a bowl, he's gone. I think Hunter has shown that. Hunter has absolutely shown you're not good enough. We're gonna go the other way.
I don't know if we can afford a buyout after 2 years either. Even if he does go 5-7, 5-7 or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what his structure. I don't know what his contract looks like as far as his extension and his buyout. It probably is, but here's the thing. Going back to your Petrino comment, no, they wouldn't bring Petrino back if A&M had the number one offense in college football. He burned too many bridges, even with the Little Rock Touchdown Club apologizing, getting all teary-eyed. It won't happen.
I think the exact opposite. I think he's the last person to make that mistake again.
That's a good point, but he made that mistake here to begin with. I think if they did anything, they would look to their friend, and I hate to say this, they would look for the next SMU head coach, Rhett Lashley. Rhett Lashley would probably be that next guy up on the short list. I know there's that SMU stuff. He's a part of the Gus tree and all that. The guy has done a hell of a job at SMU. He brought in a lot of Miami transfers. They kind of defied some odds last year. I think Rhett Lashley would probably be that guy. For those of you who don't know, he was a Springdale quarterback, or he was a Shiloh Christian quarterback here in Springdale. He's got roots here, obviously, with the U of A. I think that would probably be their next approach. Now, we're talking hypotheticals. There's no way. Hell, he could go 2-10 this year and he doesn't get fired.
If he goes 2-10 this year, he's gonna get fired. If that happens, I know so. But I'll tell you this. I think it would really be, it's 50-50 if he went 5-7 this year, next year. It's probably going to be 50 just because of the buyout alone. I don't know, what, like I said, in my opinion really doesn't matter, but I can say that I don't want Malzahn. I don't want some super old coach that's been running the same stuff that used to be cutting edge for 20 years ago, and now he's an old washed up coach. I don't want Dan Mullen. I want somebody that is like cutting edge, but also someone who knows how to win in the SEC, who has experience, and someone who is offensive minded. It's all about offense now. It's not about defense.
I agree.
You can look at whoever you want, but if they're not bringing something different to the table, then you're going to continue to get the same results. And we have the money and the resources here. There's no excuse why Arkansas cannot shell out the money that's needed to go and get someone that we know can win, and then we know that has a mental edge.
You also have to think about it like this too. Arkansas is at a huge, I don't know how much you follow recruiting, is at a huge geographic.
I follow it a lot. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Trey Biddy, so you probably do keep up with it quite a bit. They're at a huge geographical disadvantage. It's not this ivory tower job that'll just because we have Walmart money or Tyson money or JB Hunt. You got to think about the coach's wants and needs, right? I agree with you. They have a lot of money. They can go out and get some people. They can throw some big offers out. But let's not forget the Lane Kiffin scenario, the way that played out when he chose Ole Miss. I think you're probably looking at, again, we're in this hypothetical world. If let's say they go 2-10 and he gets fired this year. You're
That's
probably
going to
look
happen.
at
You know what I mean?
No, they're going to win more than 2 games. I think some of this is a bit overreactionary from a lot of the fans. A lot of fans are pissed, rightfully so. But again, let's just live in that hypothetical world for just a second. They go 2-10. Let's say they fire Sam, which is absolutely on the table of something that could happen. I think it would probably be Rhett Lashley. It could be a young up-and-coming offensive coordinator at another school. People have mentioned who was the guy? Oh, there's a coordinator. I'm just blanking on his name. Colorado's coordinator someone had thrown his name out there as someone who could take over he's going to go to a group of 5 job next before he goes P5. Maybe not. We'll see. Their offense is outstanding. Someone like that. It's going to be an up-and-comer, or it's going to be someone like a Rhett Lashley. Now, Rhett Lashley, I think, would absolutely entertain the idea of coming to Arkansas. But when you mention like a Petrino, there's just no way in hell, man. There's no way they would ever – there's no way. I don't even think they would – I know they wouldn't offer him the job.
Now,
Hunter Yurchak wants to distance himself from that.
Again, I'm not saying that he would even be a good hire because who's to say that he's, just like Malzahn and, the stuff that he was doing, X's and O's wise, doesn't work after a certain point. It just has a certain shelf life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after a while, the game has evolved past what he's doing.
I agree.
So, I don't know what the next offense, the next offensive mind looks like, but in the SEC, it's about scoring points. It's not about having the best defense anymore. It's not.
No.
Because you got so many different looks on offense. It's an offensive game.
Yeah.
The game is completely changed. It's not we're going to run the ball down your – it's not that.
Right.
It's not.
Which is what Enos wants to do. I mean, that's what I think based on spring camp, fall camp, what we've seen so far. The last 2 games, their reluctance to really even try to throw the ball. It's very clear, and they wanted to fix the offensive line. That's why they ran so much last week, and it's why they had success tonight on the ground because they'd worked on it so hard for the last couple of weeks, making those necessary adjustments. But that is, I think, at the end of the day, what he wants. He wants the ground game to open everything else up, and that's a fine approach because, by God, there's been a lot of games won, been a lot of good offenses with that ideology on offense, but it's not working.
Controlling their front 7 and getting them to play honest is really what it's about. So
unfortunately, no one's buying it. Yeah.
But Ty, I appreciate your time and everything, man. And hey, maybe we shock a lot of people next weekend and give LSU more than what they want. So,
like I said, every so often, and I use the USC example a lot. 2006, and I know that USC team was special. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you remember that game or not. Mitch Mustaine came in. Damian Williams came in the 4th quarter, threw the touchdown. Felix Jones fumbled the ball umpteen times. USC came in here and kicked your ass. USC obliterated Arkansas.
We're like 63 to. I mean, they score like 6.
It was bad. It was bad because you played them home and home. You played them the year before, if I remember that right, and got just killed there too. And then you turn around and you won 10 straight games. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case with this team, but they had that kick in the teeth moment. They got it fixed. LSU, Florida State this year and last year got beat. They got beat pretty bad against Florida State this year, worse than last year. Looks like they've gotten some things fixed. They just went into Starkville with all them annoying ass cowbells and just beat the shit out of them. I'm not saying that I'm buying LSU. I still think they're not a top 5 caliber team, but they've certainly looked like they've changed some things. There's been a number of teams this year have had that kick in the teeth moment. Maybe this was it. Maybe I'm wrong talking about all the smoke and, oh boy, where there's smoke, there's fire, there's red flags. We're in deep shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am.
Hey,
I
have
hope
one more question.
Yeah.
So if you're Sam Pittman right now, and obviously people are going to ask him about Coach Kennedy and the offensive, you know what I'm saying, talking about making a change.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can't get rid of him in the middle of the season, and you're thinking, oh shit, I've got, this year and next year to get this fixed, or else they're going to start looking for my replacement. What do you? I mean, you can't get rid of the O-line coach, in the middle of the season. So what are you going to do?
Well,
You can
never say never.
If you go and hire somebody else, a new offensive line coach, are you going to get the problem fixed in year one out of the gate?
I mean,
is it too late? Is it too late to fix things at this point? As bad as it looks on O-line, because if you don't have an O-line, you don't have an offense.
Right.
Period. And it's not all on the O-line. Max Fletcher, he had some bad punts. He put us in bad field positioning, and it takes all 3 phases to win. We had with Cam Little's usually money. We had the doink. But I would say the punts and the penalties. I'm not even mad about necessarily the pass protection or the run game. The penalties, you can't give up a whole football field worth of penalties and expect to win. Period. Not in the SEC, not against BYU, not against Kent State, not against anybody. You can't give up a whole football field worth of penalties.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I'm gonna jump off of here, but you tell me what you would do if you are Pittman right now, and you got to start to find some answers for maybe the next O-line coach.
Okay.
Hey, keep doing what you're doing. Y'all have a great night. Go
Appreciate
Hogs.
you. All right. Well, what would I do? I don't know what I would do. I mean, I'm not, I can't read Sam Pittman's mind. I don't know what you can't. I agree. You don't want to fire. You don't want to have to fire somebody, but it wouldn't shock me if he did. Okay. Never say never. It's not like Kennedy just got here. I mean, this is year 3 for Coach Kennedy, right? Never say never. Maybe Sam helps take up some of the responsibility with the offensive line. I don't know. I do think the thing that matters most to Sam Pittman, I should say it's really high on his list, is what? What is it? It's recruiting. Has Kennedy done a good job recruiting? Well, I mean, he did bring in some pretty good transfers. Wiggins is a guy, I don't know if he played tonight or not. There's so much swapping around on the offensive line. He brought in Braun. Braun's a starting player. What's he done in recruiting? Well, the future, 25 class, 26 class, it certainly looks bright. But in terms of what have you done for me lately in high school recruiting, there's some big question marks. I don't know how you grade Kennedy in terms of recruiting when you combine the portal, because I do think he's done okay in the portal. But recruiting is king when it comes to Sam Pittman and how he handles his staff. If you can't recruit, you're not worth a damn. And Kennedy is certainly borderline. I think he's on thin ice, man. If they don't fix these issues, I didn't catch that guy's name. They just called in. I apologize, but the previous caller, he's not wrong. If you don't fix these issues, you're going to lose some games. You're not going bowling if you don't fix these problems. The defense, I don't know if they're good enough to keep you in every game this year. I don't know if they're good enough to do that. I'm going to say they're not. They're certainly, despite what happened tonight, and again, numbers don't necessarily, they don't lie. They don't tell the whole story, but they certainly don't lie. It's not as if BYU did whatever they wanted on offense, but Arkansas still had a hard time getting them off the field at times. With what we've seen on the defense, I don't know if they're good enough to carry. And this offensive line has got to get this shit figured out, or you're in for a really, really long year. Even if your defense is great, even if the defense continues, keeping the offenses minimized in terms of yardage and what have you, keeping them soft in the red zone, not giving up a lot of big plays, all that. If they could continue to, gain pressure and We see Jackson and those guys do what we expect them to do up front on the defensive line. If the linebackers read, react, everybody does their job. The secondary continues to play well. All that won't matter if your offense isn't holding up their end of the bargain, and that starts with your offensive line, man. Everything goes through this offensive line. Wins and losses come down. One of the biggest issues for Chad Morris was his offensive lines were like, it was like a wet paper bag trying to block an SEC defense. Or Colorado State. They couldn't do it. They were horrible. Their offensive line play was horrible. Whole offense was bad, but the offense primarily, I think a lot of the problems, they fell apart because of poor blocking. You really feel bad for some of those guys because so much of their time was just wasted here under Chad. I'm not saying that the outcome is going to be as bad as what happened in 2018 and 2019, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it again, like I said then, and I took a lot of heat when I said at the end of the 2018 season that the staff deserves a lot of the criticism how 2019 went or 2018 went. I took a lot of criticism for that. I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know how much of this is fixable. We saw how that unfolded the following year. It got so bad, Barry Lenny Jr. had to be your interim head coach for the last 3 games of the season, including a loss to Missouri and Little Rock. I'm not saying that this is that. I think Sam knows what's going on with the offensive line. I think it's just finding the right personnel to fix these issues because, again, if you don't get this fixed, it's going to be a really, 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 really long year. This is a good comment here. I don't know why it's not pulling up. Hang on, Mark. Well, where'd it go? It disappeared. Oh, here it is. We advertise being a power running strength team, but don't have the power part. That fourth, I go back to that 4th down in shotgun, 4th and whatever it was, inches. What are you doing in shotgun? Why do you practice lining your quarterback up under center if you're not at least going to do that in a scenario where it calls for you to do that? Why are you going to practice that, man? Why are you going to line up, in these heavy sets in practice and work on the run game primarily out of the quarterback under center and not even do that when it seems like the most obvious time to do that? It does make you wonder who the hell's calling. Is that because we did see that under Kendall Briles? We saw stuff like that under Kendall. How much of that is Sam? I don't think. Maybe it was Enos. I don't know. I don't know whose decision that was. It was just crazy. Not the first time. Not the first time I've seen shotgun on 4th and 1. See NFL coaches doing it, but makes no sense. Your chances of converting go down 40% as opposed to pushing the pile. Yeah, just push the pile. Line up under center. Like I said, yeah, and they're not the only team to do that. I agree. You do see it in the NFL. You see it in college. You see it in high school. I don't know why they do it. If it's 4th and 8, 4th and 6, 4th and 5, maybe 4th and maybe a long 4, maybe 4th and 1, when you have practiced so hard on your run game, lining your quarterback under center, and again, the time calls for it, and you don't do it. Sam blamed the O-line issues on hand injuries. Oh, man. Did he lose his shit tonight? Did he get mad at the media again? Did he get mad at Tom Murphy and Trey Biddy for doing their jobs? Have we been under center? That's a good question. I don't know if they have, actually. Yeah, I think they have. Right? I feel like we have to go back and watch. Sam stays making excuses. It's ridiculous. Says Ken Phillip. I don't know. Sam stays making excuses. It's ridiculous. I don't know what you're talking about. It was comical. Fans were calling the plays before KJ snapped it. 3rd and 7. We'll run it up the middle. Yeah. T-Dub called it. I'm not going to lie to you, man. T-Dub called it. He did not like the Enos hire. He was very vocal about it. And right now, he certainly, right now, he looks like he hit the nail on the head. And you don't want to overreact. It is just 3 games. But But man, this one was a pretty important game. In 4th and 1, put KJ under center in jumbo 2, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Oh, this is a really good point. Tuss Talk with Ty, Discord administrator, everybody right here. This is a really good point. The worst part is the game is now overshadowing that amazing punt return by Centennia. We knew it was coming, man. It was only a matter of time. That's a really good point, Mike. That sucks. KJ's not a pocket passer. I mean, Sam, your friend Kennedy. Wait, Jason, I don't know what you're saying here. Sam, you fired Kennedy. You're fired, Enos. You're fired. Everybody in chat, you're fired. Oh, okay. I see. He's being funny. I don't know if firing anybody right now is the right thing to do. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but they need to get this thing fixed. If they don't, again, listen, your schedule. In case you forgot, it does not get any easier for those of you who forgot we're in the SEC at LSU. You're down in Arlington, a place where you've had so much success playing A&M. Speaking of Bobby Petrino, you're in Oxford the week after that on October 7th. At Alabama, a lot of questions surrounding their offense, but it's still in Tuscaloosa. Mississippi State, who looked like pure garbage tonight. At Florida in Gainesville. Auburn in Fayetteville. You get FIU, and then you got Mizzou, who did what today? They upset. Say what you want about Kansas State, whether you think they should be ranked that high or not. Mizzou got the win. You lost to BYU tonight. Either BYU is a hell of a lot better than we thought they were, and they are. I mean, I certainly underestimated them. I will own up to that. They are way better than I thought. But it could also be that Arkansas is just that bad. That could also be a scenario that plays out. BYU goes 6-6 in the Big 12, 7-5. They were kind of a meh Big 12 Power 5 football team. And Arkansas was just that bad. Who knows, right? I mean, last year you went 6-6, but you beat South Carolina and you beat Cincinnati. You know, you went toe-to-toe with LSU without KJ, and I know they had injuries as well. It's weird, especially with the way the portal works now. It is so much more difficult to see. It's not like headlights. Like you could see it coming. You can't. You don't know what to expect every week. That's good because it makes college football that much more entertaining. You see upsets. You see what's happening in Colorado with Dion, with prime time. Prime time. You know what's happening over there. I don't know. Did they win? Did Colorado win? I'm assuming they won. I haven't even looked at scores. We've been on this. Whoa. Colorado State's beating Colorado. Damn. All right. Well, maybe we don't want to. But still, I mean, who would have called this? How many of you picked Colorado State to beat Colorado? Game's not over. Okay, we still got 9:26 left to go in the third quarter. Florida State barely beat a not good Boston College team tonight, and they're number 3 in the country. 31-29. Boston College is not good. Penn State beat Illinois 30-13. LSU beat the brakes off of Mississippi State 41-14. Mizzou, as we talked about, they beat Kansas State 30-27. Georgia barely got. I mean, they beat South Carolina, who's now 1-2. They beat them 24-14. Alabama did beat South Florida 17-3. For some reason, I thought that Colorado game started a little bit earlier. Alabama looks horrendous, says CFB Ash. Yeah, their offense looks. It's not like we haven't seen Alabama win with great defense, though. But yeah, their offense looks very sus. Todd Cooper says we can't underestimate anyone ever. We aren't good. That is crazy about Colorado. Wow. Exactly. So what does that tell you about LSU? Not good either. I don't know if they're not good. I don't know. I certainly think right now I would have a hard time picking Arkansas. But maybe it's very possible. You know, they talk about this team needing to be surprised. Maybe last week wasn't really the surprise. Maybe it was this week. Maybe they just got surprised and Arkansas could bounce back. And they do something crazy like go down to Baton Rouge and win. Crazier shit has happened. Would I put money on Arkansas winning down there? No. Pittman doesn't answer the tough questions. Everyone wants answers to. During press conference, he just says the same things like we weren't ready, or he gets mad and disregards the question. He's done a little bit of that lately. I agree. Carson says, I'm just hoping this is a wake-up call and we beat LSU. Grayson says, quick breath. We are the Hogs. We are a living disappointment. All right. That is going to do it. We went well over an hour. We went hour and a half. This was a good one. I knew it would be. That's why I wanted to do a post-game call-in. I didn't think someone had suggested it in Discord, and I said, I don't think I'm set up to do a call-in show. I had to do it quickly. So, but I do appreciate you guys, Patreon supporters. Thank you. Sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, and of course the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria. All you guys who came through. Listen, I know emotions run high, especially after losses. I try, listen, we can't all be victims of the moment. But again, a lot of that smoke I've been talking about, it all came together. I mean, it certainly looks like there's some fire here. Where there's smoke, oftentimes there is fire. And let's hope that Sam can put it out and fix it because, well, they got a lot of questions that need to be answered and quickly. So, all right. That is going to do it. If I remember how to. Here we go. There we go. There's my page. Yeah, you guys have a good rest of your weekend. If you're a pro football fan, hopefully your team wins. Rams got to play them damn 49ers, so I don't want to lose 2 games this weekend, especially to the 49ers. Yeah, hope you guys, if you're not an NFL fan, I hope you have a good weekend. We'll have a Monday recap, the Monday after show. We'll be live on Monday. I'm hoping between 11 and noon. Well, probably, I don't know if it's going to be after Sam when he talks to the media or not. Maybe we'll do it before. But we will be live again on Monday. So I'll see you guys then. Again, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. If you're going to open up a bottle of whiskey, I'm right there with you. I think I'm going to do the same. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday. All right.
At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today. 479-203-5880 or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.